This is Ro Khanna, the congressman from California's 17th district. Recently, he posted the following video on social media.
Breaking news. The Trump administration just announced that Medicare will stop covering telehealth starting April 1st. This is going to be devastating for so many seniors who are homebound or don't live close to a doctor's office.
So what Congressman Khanna is saying is that the Trump administration announced an end to telehealth coverage through Medicare. Is this true? Or is the congressman fear-mongering? I think you know the answer to that one.
Look, you don't have to be the congressman from Silicon Valley to know that doctors and nurses should be able to use telehealth if they think that will make their patient's life better. We need to stand up to these Medicare cuts.
Even though Donald Trump has said over and over again that he is not going to cut Medicare benefits, Democrats like Ro Khanna continue to lie to their constituents. Trump is going to cut your Medicare and Social Security. Ah!
We need to stand up to these Medicare cuts.
And in this case, Medicare is not being cut. Allow me to explain. Back in March 2020, during the pandemic, the Trump administration, on a temporary basis, expanded telehealth coverage for Medicare beneficiaries. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services wrote, "The Trump administration is taking swift and bold action to give patients greater access to care through telehealth during the COVID-19 outbreak. These changes allow seniors to communicate with their doctors without having to travel to a healthcare facility so they can limit the risk of exposure and spread of this virus. Clinicians on the front lines will now have greater flexibility to safely treat our beneficiaries." But Ro Khanna's claim that Trump said that he's going to stop covering telehealth is a lie. I know you're shocked. Especially considering that the Trump administration had previously expanded telehealth benefits. Because pre-COVID, the Trump administration expanded the ability for clinicians to have brief check-ins with Medicare beneficiaries through phone, video chat, and online patient portals, referred to as virtual check-ins. And for the record, a virtual check-in is not supposed to be a replacement for a physical meeting with a doctor. And again, the 2020 expansion was supposed to be temporary. And Congressman Khanna knows this, because for the last several years, Congress has been voting to extend it. Most recently, in December 2024, in the American Relief Act. Both Democrats and Republicans voted overwhelmingly to extend COVID-era telehealth services to March 31st, 2025. Now you might be asking, why not extend these benefits beyond March? Well, the answer is simple, because this bill was a continuing resolution, a temporary spending measure designed to fund the federal government for a limited time, in this case, through mid-March 2025. And Ro Khanna knows this because he voted for the bill. Which again means that the congressman is a fucking liar. And so are all the following people. Breaking: the Trump administration has announced it will kill Medicare coverage of most telehealth services on April 1st. The Trump administration's decision to end telehealth services for Medicare will only make it harder for seniors, people with disabilities, and rural communities to access the care they need. This horrible decision will cost lives and make Americans less healthy. It's starting. Trump is ending Medicare coverage of telehealth. I guess a tax cut for billionaires is more important than the lives of your parents and grandparents. Trump signed an executive order ending Medicare coverage for telehealth services, forcing many elderly Americans to return to in-person appointments. Okay, first of all, Trump signed no such executive order. It does not exist. Second, complaining that old people will have to physically go to the doctor's office is stupid, because this is a thing that patients used to do before telehealth existed. Starting April 1st, 2025, most telehealth services through Medicare coverage will be unavailable. Well, unless Congress extends it yet again, but you know. This will affect those living in rural communities, students in college towns, and more. Students in college towns on Medicare? Looks like the Democrats tried to use ChatGPT and the system confused college seniors with actual senior citizens. Anyway, Congressman Khanna could have made a video where he said, certain telehealth benefits that have been in place for the past few years are set to expire, and if you want to make them permanent, call your representative. But he didn't. Instead, he'd rather scare the hell out of his elderly constituents and claim that the bad orange man is going to steal their benefits away without offering any solutions. Sad, really. The next stupid thing that I wanted to talk about is how Democrats and the media have reacted to President Trump and the following running joke.
I've raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I can't use for myself, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I think I'm not allowed to run again. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to run again? And they tell me I'm not allowed to run. I'm not sure. Is that true? I'm not sure. They say I can't run again. That's the expression. Sure. Then somebody said, I don't think you can. Oh. It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve not once, but twice, or 3 times, or 4 times.
And recently, during a very raucous Black History Month event at the White House, Trump asked the audience the following.
Should I run again? You tell me. There's your controversy right there. There's your controversy. You'll be seeing that on you're gonna see that tonight, Tim, on television.
Andy was right about that one.
The 22nd Amendment to the Constitution limits American presidents, well, of course, it's the American Constitution, to 2 terms in office. Doesn't stop President Trump and those who support him, however, from suggesting a 3rd term.
Should I run again? You tell me.
The title of that segment, by the way, Trump again floats unconstitutional 3rd term. I mean, you can't call it Trump jokes about running for a 3rd term because that's not news. And as Major Garrett mentioned, the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution doesn't allow Trump to serve a 3rd term. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. And unlike some amendments that need to be properly interpreted in the Supreme Court, I'm looking at you, 14th Amendment, the 22nd is crystal clear. Trump couldn't serve a 3rd term even if he wanted to. But that's not going to stop Democrats from trying to scare their constituents. Here's Congressman Dan Goldman on the matter.
But you're up with a resolution to make sure that he only serves 1 more term. Now, a lot of people thought that was a joke, Congressman. You took it seriously enough to draft this, reaffirming the 22nd Amendment applies to 2 terms in the aggregate as President of the United States. This is already in the Constitution. What makes you think you have to do this?
But he's very serious about it. And he's been talking about staying on past this next term for years. He's made numerous references to it. And the way that he operates is that things start as a joke, then they become normalized, and then he tries to do them.
In other words, Dan Goldman wrote a resolution hoping that Republicans would vote against it so he could say, aha, you see? Republicans don't care about the Constitution. Anyway, in a recent New York Times article, Maggie Haberman wrote, Mr. Trump's advisors mock those who take his comments about a 3rd term seriously, saying that he has been trolling his critics with the idea of a permanent presidency since he launched his campaign to return to the White House. Again, Trump is trolling his critics, and they're all falling for it, hook, line, and sinker, including journalist Aaron Rupar. People need to understand this. Trump did not leave office willingly the first time. If his health holds up, he will not leave office willingly this time. He is not joking about serving more than 2 terms. The TDS is strong with this one. Aaron Rupar is the type of genius that believes Donald Trump is going to run for president for like the next 100 years. But apparently, so does former Congressman and professional crybaby David Jolly.
Maggie Haberman in the Times wrote this. In private, Mr. Trump has told advisors that it is just one of his myriad diversions to grab attention and aggravate Democrats, according to people familiar with his comments when he says something about a 3rd term. Sound plausible?
I don't think Donald Trump is ever joking. It's true with Panama Canal, it's true with Gaza, it's true with Greenland, it's true with everything he does.
But Trump wasn't joking about the Panama Canal, Greenland, or Gaza. These are real concerns. Do these people ever stop and listen to themselves?
If Donald Trump thinks he will ascend to a third term, we've moved from a constitutional crisis to a constitutional collapse. Truly, get your passports ready. Because if that is what Donald Trump thinks he is capable of doing, and if the courts were to suggest that somehow that is a valid option for this president, and if Republicans in Congress suggest it as well, it's the end of the constitutional democracy that we currently appreciate and have.
That's a lot of ifs, David, but yeah, get your passport ready. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time, if there is a next time.